Hey everyone, welcome to another live stream here with the Shower Door Pros. So glad you could join us. If you feel like joining in the call here, you can just click on the link there in the announcement there on the Facebook group page, and it'll take you right in here, and I'll let you in, and you can hang out and chat with us and tell us your opinion. I'm sure you have one. So, hey, how's everybody doing? What's going on out there?
Good.
Anything new and exciting?
You look awful comfortable, Brian. You don't look frazzled like you were running around measuring jobs all day.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, I did today. So you're being facetious, I'm sure.
No. Oh, I wanted to find out how Brian made out with his collection situation that we talked about last week.
Oh, yeah.
Good. Talked to the guy the next morning and got the check. Actually deposited it last week, right before the holiday. Yeah, so it went well. You know.
Boom.
As good as it could have gone. Yeah.
And then you ordered the second door and
ordered the second door. Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah. So we're back on track.
Love it.
So it's just a matter of having a little communication, huh?
Little communication. Yeah. Just kind of reiterating the terms that I need to have on my end in order to continue to do business and, build the relationship, going upward as opposed to downward.
Right.
I think we've broached these subjects before, but it's like, we feel a little scared about talking about money. Everybody gets weird about money, right? But the fact of the matter is they're a customer. They expect to pay. And we expect them to pay. So we're afraid to talk about it, but as a customer, we're not afraid to talk about it, right? Because we expect usually to pay a deposit or whatever. There's a few odds and ends that don't, but I don't know why we're so afraid to talk about money. It's kind of a weird thing.
I think Greg said it great last week. They respect you when you do that too. They know you're a businessman just like they are. They respect that. You're standing up for yourself or your crew or whatever you've got for overhead. You provide a service.
It was funny too. Like it was a couple days later, I was, going through some invoices and doing some booking and some bookkeeping. And I noticed that I overcharged a customer by like $900. We had gone back and forth so many times on the design and the glass type. And once the order was finally placed, I placed it for what she wanted, but I had never went back to the original price. So it had stayed at the price, with all the upgrades and, all the bells and whistles. And when I sat down to do my books, and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I overcharged this lady like $916, I think it was. But in that case, I wasn't afraid to contact her immediately and say, oh my God, I sincerely apologize. I don't know how this happened. I, got overlooked. Do you want me to dispose of this check and you can mail one for the correct amount, or you want me to send you a refund? So it's funny where like the hesitation to talk about it sometimes is there in certain situations, but in other situations, like it's just a natural response or reaction. There's no thought really involved.
Right.
Man.
Yeah, once you kind of build it into your routine, if you've got kind of a spiel that you do and you do it over and over and over again, and then asking for the check is just kind of like part of that routine. It becomes more natural.
Yeah, habit.
But see, Brian, good for you for doing the right thing. You called her. I mean, you got a customer for life now, and all her friends that she's going to tell, hey, this guy called me and told me about a billing error and sent me the check back. I mean, that's a customer for life. So even though you lose the battle, so to speak, you win the war. A good move. Yeah. And you can look at yourself in the mirror and feel good about yourself.
Yeah. I rested pretty easy that night.
Yeah, you did the right thing.
I was
Good for
listening
you.
to actually last week's podcast today because I missed it. And this, when I was listening to this subject, what came to mind when we guys were talking about deposits is, I've had discussions with customers about deposits who didn't want to pay a deposit because they'd been ripped off with zeros on the end before from contractors or whatever. And I get it. And that's terrible. I hate that, but I'm not that contractor. And so the way I put it to them is there's a balance of trust that has to happen. I don't know you and you don't know me, right? If you have me take 100% of the money, then you've put 100% of the trust in me that I'm going to come back and finish the job or even start the job. If I don't take any money from you, I'm putting 100% of the trust that you're going to pay me when the job is done. It's not that I don't like you or I don't trust you. I don't know you. And, customers have a lot of ways to vet the contractors, but as contractors, we don't have hardly any way to actually vet the customer. And so I just explain it as a balance of trust. You pay me 50% and I want to come back and get the rest of the 50% once I'm done with the job. I take 50% and you want me to come back and finish the job because you gave me 50%. It's very easy to understand, I think, in that context. I still have some customers who just refuse to pay a deposit, but whatever.
Yeah, but those are ongoing people, right? The ones that refuse, you say you have some customers. So there must be somebody that you've been doing repeat business for.
No, they were one off.
Oh, really?
It wasn't a shower door. It was happened to be window glass, but no, it's just it was the first time I'd ever seen them.
Oh, do you accept credit cards?
This was a long time ago. We weren't doing credit cards at that time.
Okay.
So what do you do in that situation?
In the one particular situation that I'm thinking of, it was like a $200 job at the time. Again, this was probably 10 years ago. And I just did the job. And he paid me in full at the end. It was fine. But to me, it was more the point that, look, I understand you've been ripped off, but so have I. And I don't have a way to vet you. And this is my way to balance that out. It turned out fine, but I don't know. I just get a little weirded out when people are weirded out about paying a deposit.
Sure.
I don't understand that concept.
Would you have done it if it had been, say, a shower door and was several thousands of dollars? Would you have taken that?
Not now.
Yeah.
No, I would not.
Your risk $200, and that's completely different from $2,000.
Right, and actually, my risk was far lower than that because that was just my glass and my time.
Your labor.
And the glass, was under $100.
Right.
But yeah, no, a shower door. After having that discussion, and they still refuse, I would just have to say, I'm sorry, we're just not the company for you.
Yeah, I have a handful of contractors that, I've known for years and years and worked with, and, I order glass for them all the time without a deposit, obviously. But
and we do too.
Yeah. Everybody else, general public, homeowners, it's always 50% before I will even order the door. The check has to be bank. The credit card has to be cleared before I'll order the door. But I've never had anybody tell me no, that they won't pay it. So knock on wood.
Yeah, and that's what I said earlier, is everybody expects to pay, almost everybody expects to pay a deposit. It's just the way the world works. And it's okay if they don't expect that, and we have that balance of trust conversation, and they still don't want to pay. Now the red flags go up and the hair on the back of my neck starts standing up.
Yeah. You feel like you can't trust them now. Yeah.
That's right. And again, I don't have a way to vet them other than you pay me. I mean, I do a lot of things on a handshake, but no.
Well, that's one advantage to having credit cards,
Oh, yeah.
because I mean, if they are doubting that you're going to perform, they can always back charge you.
That's why I asked you that question.
True.
Yeah. And I hate that process too, because they can just simply say, and I've had this a couple of times, they get their bill 2 months later, they look at their bill and they're like, no, I don't recognize that charge. So all of a sudden the credit card company snatches it right out of my account and says, prove that they owed it to you. Wait a second. How about we have a discussion first? I understand that's not how it works, but I'm guilty until proven innocent, and I have to prove that they said yes, go ahead. That's
But
just
don't signed contract for them to do the work.
No, not signed.
Mm.
No.
No.
I'm trying to get better at that. But there's a lot of times that you give them the price, their wife or their husband comes home, they talk about it later, they call 2 days later and say, yeah, let's go ahead. We take the credit card over the phone, which to me is undisputable. I didn't steal your credit card number from your wallet when I was standing there. You called and gave it to us. But the credit card company doesn't know that, nor do they care.
But that is your documentation. That is your proof for everything that you have agreed to install for them. So.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm learning. I'm only 14 years in. Come on. Give me a break.
You'll get there. You'll get there.
Well, so that's a good question. Does everybody else in this group get a signature approving everything?
Yes.
Yes.
Our contract has a detailed description of exactly what they're buying, the dimensions. I mean, the finish, low iron, whatever it is that they're getting, detailed description and the price on the contract. And then at the bottom, all the disclaimers that we're not responsible for.
Yeah. And I'm working on that actually as we speak, but yeah.
Yeah.
And half of them don't read it.
We've measured and the leaks and all the other little detailed things that pop up every once in a while. It's not all the time, but it'll be that one time that you don't get it, that you'll need that protection. And so we have them sign off. It's about 10 or 12 items that they have to understand, that frameless doors, they're not aquariums, they're not tanks, there's a possibility they could leak, just that one little thing, or glass tile, there's a possibility that it could break while installing, little things like that.
And I'm working on that.
But when they do, it's a very good thing to have because it's a lot of money. So we have them sign off on all that, and then they are required to put down a 50% deposit. And then the day of completion, they have to pay the balance that day. And when we call the day or 2 days before to schedule the installation, the girls always ask, how would you like to pay your balance when we're finished with the installation? So sometimes they want to give the guys a check, and that's fine. Or if they want to call in with a different credit card, then they pay the deposit with. We always find that out before we go out to do the install. And that way there's not a lot of confusion when we're at the install and, oh, well, my wife took the checkbook and I left my wallet at the office, and all those excuses, they just don't hold up. So they have to pay that day.
Right.
So,
well, when it comes to leaks, I just got Chris's number and I just let them call him and he straightens it all out.
There you go.
Let's have a talk about it.
That's right.
We should all get a clip of his recording. We'll just play it to our customers. Here's
the
shower door pro.
Watch this short video.
We'll set up a ringtone.
So Lana, what tools do you use for your signatures? Is it an actual DocuSign type form?
We send it to them, just a PDF where they can sign it.
Oh, and do they actually scan then? And do they do a physical signature or just kind of accept through an email or something?
Well, with the PDF, you have the option of typing in your name, or you can sign it either way.
Okay.
Some people want to come by the office and physically sign it, especially the people that don't want to pay the 4% for the credit card fee. And we do always tell people that you can do your deposit on a credit card, but there is a fee for it. And a lot of people say that is high, but that's what it is. And so a lot of people will say, no, I'll just come by the shop and bring you a check, and then they'll sign their copy, and then we give them a copy. So everybody wants to do something different. Some people want to print it out and sign it and fax it back to us, and everybody has a different way of doing it. So we try to accommodate what works best for the customer. But the PDF is probably the most popular that people use.
What's a fax?
Just the facts. Just the facts.
Yeah, what's a fax?
Yeah, there are some people that still do that, believe it or not. Yeah, they do. So, but a lot of I think the older, I say that very gingerly, older, they like to come in. They like to come in and physically hold the contract and sign it and get their copy and look around the shop and look at the doors and touch and feel. And, that's an experience for them, where the younger generation, they order everything online and just buy a picture and they're fine and happy with it, So that's how that works for us.
Yeah, excellent topic. What's everybody else doing? I mean, does everybody here collect a deposit in advance? If so, like how much? And Nadeem, have you been on this call before? Well, why don't you kind of introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you, where you're from, and stuff like that.
Yeah, thanks. My name's Nadeem. I've been spying on you guys for months. And I actually got the opportunity to talk to Shannon, which was really cool. We talked for 30 minutes or so on the phone. I learned a ton. I'm a silent observer, and I mean I follow Bill.
Not anymore.
He's the president, so I'm learning everything from you guys, even if you don't think someone's watching. You guys are so I appreciate being here, and I saw the feed pop up and thought, oh shit, I can actually hop on tonight. So I own a glass company in Tacoma, Washington, mostly residential and commercial windows and glass, and then a little bit of shower glass, and trying to really grow that shower glass company. So I don't know anything about glass. I didn't before I started it. I was a nuclear test engineer before this, and quit my job. Sorry if you hear kids screaming, but
that's so cool. You like kids.
Yeah. On this topic of contracts, like I said, I learned a lot from you guys. What I've figured out that works really well, and I should have done it from day one. Use a CRM. Just a basic software. You can, if you're doing shower doors, windows, or glass, you can use something like Jobber, which is a really cheap, basic scheduling estimating software. Use that and build in a real basic agreement in there with whatever your terms are. And then you never have to rewrite it again. You attach it to every estimate. And then you can set your deposit amount on there to say, like for me, it's 50%. On anything. If it's a $200 job or if it's a $40,000 job, it's 50%. And it's my guys used to struggle with, oh my God, the customer, it's kind of embarrassing. They think we need the money. The mindset shift is not we need your money now because we can't afford the materials. It's simply to protect ourselves, and then it gives us incentive to really provide you with 5-star service. If the project takes 3 months, we have full capability to do it. And again, you're just protecting yourself from things that can happen down the road. And we've had customers cancel projects. It happens. And then we work to refund them their discount or their deposit if we can. If we can't, we can't. And so I would totally recommend taking that deposit and having a clean, quick contract. DocuSign, you can even connect DocuSign to it and get it done.
Sure can.
So
thank you guys. Yeah.
Well, thanks for finally showing up, man. It took you long enough.
Yeah, welcome.
Really good to have you.
Thank you guys.
It's
So here
great
in
to see him
California-
online. And when we get to marketing topics, Nadim is a marketing master. He didn't learn anything from me. I learned from him.
That's my favorite
Awesome.
topic. So you guys teach me how to install showers, and I'll figure out the marketing and CRMs and stuff.
That's how
Sounds
this
like
works.
a good arrangement.
Yeah, it's exactly. That's exactly how this works. You know, everybody's got their strong suit, and all of us are learning. I mean, I speak for myself. You know, I mean, I say it all the time, but I'm not making it up. I learn stuff like every week. So that's pretty much why I'm here.
So here in
Funny part is-
California, you can only take 10% down.
Oh,
That's the law. So I call it a down payment
It's the law.
or a progressive payment.
10%. Wow.
Yeah, I that's what I do. I call it a down payment. I don't take any deposits.
Yeah, I don't say deposit, down payment.
No deposits. No deposits, just down payments.
Or a progressive payment, you know.
Aggressive payment. Exactly.
And you started the job, I need a progressive payment. I have more the materials and this is what I need.
Wow.
Yeah, you know, for me, I found that I don't even have to really bring up trust, you know, as a thing. It's like I'm not getting the money because I don't trust you, or it's like it has nothing to do with that, even though I don't know you and I don't trust you. No, but it's not that I don't trust you. It's just that you know, it just helps move things along, and it helps me see that you're definitely committed to this. You know, I mean, there's nothing's worse than like ordering somebody's glass, having it delivered, and them saying, "Oh yeah, I don't want to do this." Yeah, I mean, that's terrible. You can't have that, you know. So until somebody is willing to, you know, to make that first payment, then I'm not comfortable moving forward. And you know, especially when we're busy, you know, there was a lot of people kind of in the queue. Hey, this is going to save your spot. This is going to save you a spot on my calendar. You know, stuff like that, you know, rather than, I mean, trust, you know, I just assume, hey, if we're doing business, then we trust each other, you know, on some level, right? That's established. And then, but I almost always get that down payment, even from contractors, even contractors I've done work with for a long time. You know, there are some rare exceptions where, you know, it's just not very much money. And it's like, it's more convenient for me to bill them once. And we've been doing business for a while. So, yeah, I just want to make it convenient for everybody.
And most people, they pay it. They don't complain. They say, how much you want? You tell them, they give it to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I had one contractor, he gave me a payment of $30,000 just to buy material. No, you know, how much you need? Send me a bill, and he sent me the check.
I'll say we do it a little bit different because we do a deposit to come on site. So it's if you don't want to lock in a deposit with us, we're not going to hold a spot in our measurement schedule for you for most of our customers. So contractors, we do handle a little different if they have set up an account with us. But for our regular homeowner basis, we require the deposit to move you over to on-site measure because we do a lot of pre-sale. Mm-hmm. So we handle it a little bit different from other folks.
So you charge for your estimate and then you apply that toward the door or whatever product
We don't charge for an estimate. You get a digital estimate. So we give free estimates. We do not give free on-site estimates.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
We charge an evaluation fee to come on site for one of our salesmen or salespeople to come out to your house. Mm-hmm. But we'll do pricing digitally, which is a little different than most folks.
Yeah, we don't do that. Too many variables.
We also don't waste any trips. Yeah, too many variables until you're comfortable with it. But it eliminates a lot of the issues we were running into with time wasted, trips wasted, money wasted. Mm-hmm. And like I've mentioned before, we're probably selling more showers. Not probably. I have more glass in my building right now than we've ever had shower wise. So it's a scary proposition on the front end, but when you become comfortable with it and you eliminate all tire kickers, everybody who's just wondering what a shower costs and wants to bring out a salesperson for that, when you eliminate that completely, it kind of changes the game a little bit.
So do you give them a starting price, or the price you give them, is it regardless of what you run into when you go do the actual assessment?
Oh no, it can always change on site. If they provide a picture and we go to their house and it's a completely different shower, then obviously the price is not going to be consistent with what they were originally given.
Right.
But if we go on site and, I mean, honestly, you're probably the same as I am. You've looked at thousands and thousands and thousands of showers. How often do you go on site and it's completely different than a picture they're going to send you and you don't know what you're going to do? It seems scary at first, but it's truly not. When you look at, I'd say in a given year, I'll probably look at, 2,000 or 3,000 showers. And I've done that for 10 or 15 years. There's only so many shower layouts. Now you will get the occasional one that doesn't make sense, or they've laid something out wrong and you'll see it in the picture. But it's very rare. You're talking a percentage well under 5% of the showers you're getting. So,
okay.
So the deposit we ask for, and initially I thought too, like most homeowners or most customers are going to be standoffish to giving a deposit to someone who hasn't stepped on site. But surprise, surprise, I was wrong, and it's worked really well.
Okay.
Now, I kind of am similar as far as my methods as well. I do a lot of, digital sales, and usually the price that I give based on the pictures and the information is it doesn't change. If the pictures are detailed enough and enough communication's gone on, the price is the price. There's been a few times though where they still want me to come out and do that on-site assessment, and I charge a consultation fee. That's what I label it as. Are you, Billy, do you charge like a flat rate, or is there like an average or a window that you charge? Just curious.
So typically a flat rate, depending on location.
Okay.
So if we're traveling more than an hour, so pretty much like what we consider our general county area or surrounding counties, if we're going outside of that, we'll charge more. But typically it's a set rate.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I do something very similar. I mean, I don't go to any job site actually until I know that I've got the job. That probably sounds weird to a lot of people, but just, the way that our company is set up, I mean, we're just so small. And what's weird is that, kind of like what Billy is alluding to, is that, I started out doing full service glass, right? And I started narrowing my focus and narrowing it. I decided just to do shower doors, but I was doing like shower doors and handrails. And I was doing some backsplash and mirrors. And then I started eliminating those things, kind of the Pareto principle thing of like just narrowing it down to the 20% that I was doing that was getting me 80% of the sales, and got it down to where it was just shower doors and where I was saying no to everything else. And then to where I stopped doing any like what I call manufactured shower doors. So it was only frameless with some rare exceptions. And what I'm finding is that the more things I say no to, the busier I get. I mean, I've gotten to where it's like, I can't even keep up. So the more I narrow my focus, the more insanely busy I've gotten. And I could still tell people, we charge a fee to come out. If you purchase from us, we'll waive that. It'll be included, in your invoice. But some people don't like that, and some people. But this is Santa Cruz. I mean, you can't throw a rock without hitting a glass shop. I mew, there's like probably a dozen glass shops. There used to be one like a half mile from me, and when I first started, I was like right next door to one. So it's like there's plenty of people who will go out, and that's what they'll tell me. It's like, oh well, the other guys will come out. I'm like, yeah, they will.
call them.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's not for everybody. I mean, I totally understand that. I mean, it just depends on the way you're set up. I mean, there are like 100 different ways to do this. Everything from, you know, from marketing to sales to installations to all of it. You know, whether you're going to do repairs, like I don't even do repairs. You know, unless it's an existing customer who's calling me. It's like if somebody needs something fixed, I don't go fix it. And if they've got an enclosure, like the door broke and they just need to replace that, I mean, that to me is a repair. So, so for me, that's just how it works. But I understand that, you know, my results are not typical, right? And I don't know if there is such thing as typical, you know, in the shower door business. Everybody, it's custom, right?
Yeah, something different. Something interesting that happened to us just this week. First time it's happened, but had a homeowner call and want to get an estimate for a shower door. And so we scheduled an appointment for our estimator to go out, and he went out and measured and brought it back, and we got the quote. And we just email our quotes and put a few details in there, just confirming, you know, what she wanted. And so we gave her the quote, and her response was, well, if I buy a door from Lowe's, can you come and
We're right there.
we don't install from Lowe's. We're a custom glass shop, and our doors will fit your opening perfectly. What you buy at Lowe's is probably not going to fit. And it didn't, because she had a lot of outages and, you know, that she needed a custom door. And she said, okay, that's fine. Would you just go ahead and send me a copy of the spec sheet that your guy took all the measurements for this week and everything? We're like, it just
No.
kind of
Nope.
and said,
Nope.
no, ma'am, we do not do that. Like, we would just
You can buy it.
you know, that for it to go out there and measure and spend time, because our estimator, he's also, you know, a salesman at the same time. So he's making the sale. He's there. So like, we would just give all that to her so she could use that information somewhere else, you know. So we had a good laugh about that. No, ma'am, we're not going to do that. So we haven't heard back from her.
We get that all the time.
Do you?
All the time. But usually they call and they say, hey, I have a door we bought online or whatever it is. Can you install it? And then, you know, I have to tell them no.
Yeah, we don't either. We Wayfair, we have several calls.
Ouch.
Because the contractor said he could put it in for me, and then it doesn't fit. And they, you know, we've had some pretty mad about it, and they won't take it back. I'm sorry, you know, we can't help you. But
trying to save some money.
Yeah,
it's expensive to save money.
You know, the way I'm glad you brought that up, Chris, because the way I put it is, it takes X amount of money to do a thing, right? If a customer wants to save the money, it's coming out of somebody's pocket. And if it doesn't come out of their pocket, guess whose pocket it's going to come out of? Mine, because it still costs X amount of money. And so what they're saying, they don't see it this way, and they don't understand it this way. But when they say, I want to save money, what they're saying is, I want you to pick up the difference. And that's the way I see it.
That's actually right. Yeah, that's what they're saying.
It's a good way to look at it.
Yeah, I mean, they don't mean it that way, but in reality, that's really the way it works.
The other phone call after the quote is when they say, well, the other guy charged this amount, but we like you better. Do you price match? I'm going, you know, if it was all about price, then we wouldn't be having this conversation. You would have already hired the other guy. So obviously you see that we have an added value, and that added value is reflected in the price. And no, this wasn't like our first number that we're going to negotiate from. You know, the price is the price. And sometimes I had one guy. Great answer. I had one guy just argue with me, and he is like, I don't know why you wouldn't, you know, why you wouldn't reduce it by just $200 to keep the customer. And I said, well, I don't know why you wouldn't pay $200 more to get, the best vendor. And it always goes both ways. So I don't mind those conversations. And we had one where he's really pushing, and I didn't care. And I said, no, the other guy, he either was giving him something else or he totally underbid it. And I said, I really need that guy to get your job. Because what do you mean? I said, I need him to lose money off of you so that he'll learn. So
wow.
I don't negotiate price. I don't discount. I don't do any of that. Here's our price.
No, once the price goes up, that's it.
Good for you.
Yeah,
And
I don't discount
know
either.
It's apples or apples oranges.
Right. Yep, that's right.
Yeah, we will.
I always tell them, look, I know we're worth it.
Yeah.
I know we're worth it.
Yeah, shout out Keith Dobman. Anybody that doesn't follow him on LinkedIn, he posted something about that this week. So just do a little search on Keith and find his post on price matching from this week. That would be my stance as well. I'll make sure everybody goes and looks at Keith's stuff this week.
There you go.
I'll talk it over too with them in detail. And I don't mind doing that, because a lot of times then they'll see the difference and they'll really appreciate it. We'll go line by line, okay, so I see that, you wanted matte black, the other guy did chrome, okay, I see that we did kind of extra tall. Oh, I see that we did clips, and the other guy did channel. I mean, a lot of times you can see it. And then there are other people who just want to pay less. And I always try and, you did low iron and you did 1/2-inch glass. How about we do regular glass and all that? And they're like, no, I really want what I really want. Okay, well then.
So do I.
Yeah.
It really costs what it really costs.
Yeah.
Good, fast, or cheap. Pick two, because you won't get the third.
That's right. Yep. That's it.
However, you know what I've realized? There are people out there, and I've got to get in this business, where it's not good, it's not fast, and it's not cheap. That like hand painted and handmade tile that you hate to install on? They'll pay a fortune for it. It'll be bad quality. They'll have waited, 12 weeks for it, and it's the most expensive thing you can find. I'm like, why am I not in that type of a business?
Absolutely.
True.
Well put. Yeah, I love what you were saying a minute ago, though, about, I need that guy to do that job. That is a great answer. And it's so true. It's like, we needed him to hurry up and go out of business. So go ahead. Yeah, if you're willing to take that guy on, you'd be doing us all a favor.
Yeah.
Yep. What is that guy thinking? If I take the job from him, what's he thinking? He's thinking he has to charge even less next time? I mean, no.
Right? Because he must assume whoever got this must have bid lower than me. That's why they got it.
We've all been there and second guessed, am I charging too much? Where am I at with the other? It's hard to tell. And, so. Yeah.
I totally remember that, especially towards the beginning. It's like, am I pricing it right? And that is the toughest thing. And when people ask me, sometimes what people ask me is, well, how did you come to that? How did you come to this number? They want me to explain how I'm like, well, I'm not going to tell you that. That's like the golden ticket that people like spend their whole career trying to figure out. How do I price this? I'm not going to tell you.
They want you to.
The way I answer that.
Tell me.
The way I answer that is with, I've looked at my books. I know what it costs me. I know what my overhead is, and I know that I have to make X amount of dollars to break even. But I also need to make a profit. That's on top of my personal income. I have to make a profit. If I don't make a profit, then I might as well just sit home and eat chocolate bonbons, because there's no incentive for me.
Might as well just get a job, right?
Right. If I'm not making a profit, then then forget it. And I know what those numbers are. I don't get into, what kind of margin I'm making or how much profit. They don't need to know that. They won't know that, but they do need to know that I'm in business to make a profit. And the other thing about that is, so are they. Even if you work for the man, everybody that works for us, everybody that's out there making a job,
you're supposed to be
right.
doing it out of the goodness of your heart.
Right.
You are in business to create jobs for other people.
Yeah. And the funny thing is everybody's in their work to make money. They're not in their work to just break even, because they have bills to pay, and they want to go on vacation. That vacation is their profit, right? And so if they just wanted to break even, then they've got all their expenses paid and they eat, but they don't go on vacation, and that's their profit. And I have profit too. So we are in it for the money. I'm not a charitable organization.
Capitalist.
Yeah. Thank you. That's a great compliment.
I meant
makes the world go around. Yeah,
that's right. What's the alternative? I mean,
there's a lot of them out there.
Yeah,
I don't participate in the race to the bottom.
Yeah, exactly. That's a race you don't want to win.
We used to get people to ask us to break it down.
Do you break it down for them?
No. It is what it is.
I'm in the glass business. I'm not here to break stuff.
Nope. Don't know how to do it.
Oh, we break plenty.
Yeah, that part.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, who else? Who else has some input on this whole collecting the down payment or deposit or whatever? Anybody just doesn't do that at all?
That would be me, guys.
Oh, right on. That's right. You were talking about this last time.
Yeah.
Talk some more about that, Matt.
Yeah. So, I mean, ultimately, I think you hit it on the head originally, Chris, is the demographic really drives what you're looking for, and what you're able to get away with and what you can't get away with. Your competition. What is your competition doing? Now, ultimately, kind of, I believe on Lisa's point is you don't want to have every single job. It's always nice to have a competition down the road who is a scapegoat for clients that you just don't get along. And there's plenty of them. I mean, we have, I'll joke about it with our shop, but we call it a PIA charge, where we're going to a pain in the ass charge. We have clients that we just don't want to work with. And there's times where we'll say respectfully, we just don't want to work with you. Going on the estimates and, deposits, I mean, I'm in a very good demographic when it comes to very blue collar, hardworking people around here, which it's a very high capital per household. And, I don't know what's special about mine that's allowing me to do it, or whether it's the way I'm marketing or whether it's the way I'm doing the sales or anything like that. But I tell you, I always get paid on my jobs. I mean, I'm saying this all while I'm knocking the wood behind me. Okay. Right. Because I mean, in 10 years, I've had 3 litigation issues, and they were non-related to shower doors or residential. So, I mean, it's worked out, and it's worked out very well. I've had to threaten a couple people with litigation, but it's for us, it just works well.
And that's awesome. I mean, if you can do that, that really is the ideal in my thinking. I mean, and that just proves it. I mean, there's no standard, there's no standard way of doing it. I mean, it's going to be different for everybody. And there's a whole kind of a menu of different approaches that you can use in every aspect of the way you're running your business. And I made it a point not to do things the same way that everybody else, is doing it. especially in my area. I mean, if everybody's doing it this way, that's the last way I want to do it. I want to figure out a way to distinguish myself.
Stand out.
Right? Yeah. And that's awesome that you do that. I wouldn't discourage you, not for 1 second.
No, I don't take it as such. If anything, I got thick shoulders. I wear it as a badge. One of the biggest reasons why we are able to do that is because of cash flow. We get in, we get out, we keep the client happy. Less than 30 days, we pay our suppliers. That's our. If you get to dragging it out or something like that, then that's where cash flow just starts taking a hit. Quick. I mean, we got to get these things turned out in less than a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks at the most. And when they start dragging out, that's where it starts hurting everything.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. See, that's something different. I love it. So anyway,
one of them awkward silences again.
That was weird. We never have that here.
Yeah.
So, Bill, as far as the fuel, did you ever look back and see what your increases were?
Yeah, we're getting hit on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you see what percentage-wise?
Well, percentage-wise, as a whole, it ends up like 2%.
Yeah,
it's not too bad because I have so many other expenses. It's kind of buried in there, but still 2% of a big number is a decent number. If we're getting it every day. Yeah.
I got my numbers in from what I was talking about last week. And 4 years ago, just analyzing from 4 years to now on that overall number, breaking it on a per truck basis, we're sitting about 15 to 20% increase as an overall in 4 years.
All right. So let's specify this.
Yep.
An increase of your fuel prices or an increase of your total expenses off your overhead?
Total expenses on overhead.
Really?
4 years ago.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, a year ago to now, on a per truck base, we're sitting about 2 to 3%.
Okay.
But from 4 years ago, because I think I was telling you, I was having my accountant do my quarterlies and everything else.
Yeah.
And he finally got me my numbers in. But I also asked him to do 4 years worth. Give me a timestamp. 4 years ago, give me timestamps, the whole nine. And it was like 15%. So that 15% growth or increase in my costing has now got to be translated into something. Even though it's 2%, 3% overall, it's got to be caught up in the margin because I can't be making less money. We're tight margins as it is.
Mm-hmm. Take a look at your freight costs and stuff coming in from Sierra Lawrence or wherever you're getting it from. Like if you order your hardware per job, where it used to cost you maybe $6 or $10 for a box of hinges and a handle, what's it costing you now? Now take a look at that because you're adding that on to every single job.
Absolutely.
I don't know how you run your shop. I don't know if you're bringing in 20 or 50,
I don't mind.
50 at a time.
We typically have it as a markup on a per job basis. So our percentages are built in on a per job basis.
Yeah.
We prorate that on a basis of, hey, we're going to shoot for this target goal of 2 million.
Good.
And that once we reach that, all right, how do we break out our cost? How do we break out all of and work it backwards from there? So that's the basis of it. Of how we do it is the staff just has a multiplier. They run that multiplier. And if I see increases, guess what? We're adding up 1 to 2 points on that multiplier.
Good.
Keep it simple for them.
Yeah, but stay on it. Stay on it all the time.
Hmm.
That's really important.
Mm-hmm.
Like this forum is different because there's so many guys with different amounts of employees. But as you grow with more employees, another number you really got to keep an eye on is your workers' comp costs. And I don't know how it is in other states, but it's an interesting dynamic because for probably 15 years, I didn't know that this was even available. But you have, I don't know if I want to spend time on it for guys that don't have employees, because then it doesn't help you at all.
I think probably most people here have employees.
Most of them have employees, so it's worth the discussion.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think there's probably only a couple of us here who don't have employees.
All right.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm always willing to learn something here about workers' comp.
So every time you go to an insurance company, they tell you they can't negotiate the rate. The rate is the rate. Do you hear that from your people?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's totally false.
Yeah, I don't.
The rate is the rate. At that point, they're right. But are your guys classified in the right classification to get you a lower rate? And that's the thing you got to look at. There's a code that you can go on and you start searching to see if your installers will fit into a different category. So therefore, their rate is lower than what you're paying. So that's one thing. And you can have multiple categories. So if a guy only works in the field 50% of the time and he's doing estimating the other 50% of the time, you can put him in two categories. And that could make a huge difference. So if they're working in your showroom, but they don't install, they don't have to pay the same as your installers. If one guy is only doing deliveries, that's a different rate altogether. But the second part is, so that comes up and creates your premium. And then you have what they call a mod rate, MOD. And the mod rate is based on your experience rating. So if you don't have many claims, you may have a mod rate less than a 1. So if you have a mod rate of 1, that means you're paying your full premium, or you're paying 100% of it. If you have a mod rate of 0.9, you take your premium and you only pay 90% of your premium. You get a 10% discount. If you have a mod rate of 0.8, you get a 20% discount. So as a business owner, you have to work and try and get your mod rate down. The other thing is you can negotiate with your insurance carrier to get a dividend. They'll say, okay, if you don't have any claims during this year, you can get 50% of your premium back as a dividend. So what? 50% back? Yeah. For 15 years, I didn't know about this. I was livid when I found out.
You have to ask for it, right?
You got to know about it because they're not going to tell you.
You got to be educated in it.
They're not going to just offer it to you, huh?
Yeah, I was livid. And now, I mean, that's a big deal because we go out of our way to keep that mod rate down. There's many times that if somebody gets injured, a laceration, a panel breaks and they get cut, I will pay for them to go to urgent care and take care of it. And then we report it as a first aid injury.
First aid.
And you just report it. So there's a record of it in case it gets an infection later, then you turn it over. But you try and stop those small claims from adding up. Paying a $200 or $300 bill to a walk-in clinic for stitches is much better than losing a huge dividend later on.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So there's things that you can do to save yourself money. And as you get employees, that's a big deal right there. A big deal.
Thank you.
The other thing is safety training. Take your, if you have a warehouse and you have a forklift, get forklift training. They provide it for free for you, but you get a discount off your rate. Same thing as if you get other certain safety protocol ratings. You have a written safety program, you will get a discount off your rate. Sometimes that's a big deal for just getting a boilerplate safety program that you can get off of Google, print it and put it in your handbook. And you have a meeting once a quarter, once every 6 months about safety. You can get a huge discount.
Bill, I also saw, I started learning more about that when I had first started getting into the commercial side. Same thing with your OSHA 30s, that kind of thing. And I think you hit it on the head by making sure you're categorized properly. A lot of the insurance companies don't know what the heck we actually do. We're not out there, as far as shower door guys, we're not out there in lifts. We're not out there operating telehandlers. When you classify us as a glazer, that is potentially where they're heading with that. And that is a much higher risk with that. Now we also do commercial work, so that is kind of a a mute point for us. But as far as the classification, if we didn't do that, I would probably be sitting about 30-40% higher with my staff, just on that at the workers' comp side.
That's right. They put you in a general category, so you're in the same category. You're working with tempered glass as a guy is with annealed glass, which is a much higher cut risk, but you're also in the same category as guys that are up on lifts on the side of a skyscraper.
Yep.
They're glazing, and it's the wrong category for you. It's just absolutely the wrong category. So you can break, if you have 100 employees, you might only have 30 that are installers. The rest are clerical or what are other categories, inside laborers, forklift drivers, whatever it is.
Yep.
You start breaking that down, you're saving yourself a lot of money. And then when you're proactive on injuries and trying to get guys back into work so they don't have lost time injuries, even if they have a minor laceration where the doctor says take the rest of the week off, you can have them come in and do menial labor, very small labor, whether it's washing a truck or vacuuming trucks or counting screws for packaging for the installers, just something to keep them working and they don't have lost time. That's when your rate will go up. So when you put in claims for lost time injuries, you can lose a lot of money. So if you're creative and you keep the guy keeping a paycheck, many times it's easier to keep paying him while he takes care of himself.
Brilliant.
It's a big deal. And again, I learned from having to pay it over this year, then finally coming across an insurance agent. I like changing every so often to keep honest people honest. They don't get too comfortable with you. And then you start finding out these other things.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Bill. The employees appreciate that too, because they're still working and they're not having to go through all that whole mess too, right?
Totally. I've got two or three. I've got a great example. I got a guy right now that had lifted a piece of glass awkwardly and he ripped a muscle in his arm. They wanted him to go in for surgery. Workers' comp says, yes, we'll pay for that. He says, no, I don't want surgery. I believe in a holistic approach. They have a stem cell replacement where it'll grow the tendon back. The insurance wouldn't allow it. I said, I'll pay for it. We'll do that and we won't put it through insurance and let's see, but we'll put it in as a claim because if it doesn't work, you're going to need it taken care of. But I agree with you. I don't really want to see you go in for surgery if you don't think you need it. So it's a really interesting concept. And sometimes you have to have a good insurance agent that you can talk those things over with.
Yeah. And if you're shopping for new, if you let, a new insurance company know that like you're looking around, they're likely to get out there and tell you a lot of these things to try to win your business, So that's a smart idea. And I think just when you personalize your interaction with an employee like that, let him know it's like, you're not just like cattle here, It's like, I see you as an individual and like, what is it that you need? How can we make the best of this unfortunate situation? I mean, they know if you're sincere. I mean, they know you already, right? You already have a relationship with them. If they already believe that you care about them and, you're trying to, just do what's best by them and the company, you got the company to take care of. And if it's a good employee, they want the company to do well too, right?
Exactly.
So it makes the world go round.
Yeah.
It's all about the love.
It's that time.
Bill, that's good stuff, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Anytime.
Yeah.
That's what we're here for.
Mm-hmm.
Learn stuff like that. That's awesome.
Yep.
Well, thanks, everybody. I'm really glad that you showed up again. And let's do it again next week.
You bet.
Sounds good. Good night,
Have a great
everybody.
week, everyone.